welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys. And coming up for you, we are going to be talking about Barca's transfer plans. We've spoken about that a lot throughout the summer, but what are we planning for this remainder of the transfer window? We're going to be talking today about Barca's plans to sign 3 more players this summer, but we're not only going to be talking about who we're looking at, who are we going to bring in? We are going to be talking about what are they going to bring? What kind of characteristics are they going to be able to bring to Xavi's team? And are those the kind of characteristics that we are looking for? It is all going to be analysed and discussed today. So come on, and let's do this. Because if we do indeed begin in the left-back area, because it is very, very interesting, right after the game against Rayo Vallecano, Gerard Romero came out and he said there were several people from within the club who didn't really understand and were actually quite disappointed that Jordi Alba started that game. Given the fact that Alejandro Balde had such a fantastic pre-season, they were disappointed that Alba started, and indeed with the performance that followed, Alba did not put in a good display. He was subbed off, of course, and he was certainly not at the kind of level that we are going to need from him this season. And there goes the question, because there are plenty of fans right now who would like to see Balde, given what he showed in pre-season, the promise that he has, they'd like to see him given a chance, given a real opportunity to basically say, go on then, go out there and show us what you can do. But there are also people that think that maybe it might be too soon, that he may be better suited taking the Nico route, going out on loan for this season before coming back ready for the next. And at least right now, that seems to be the kind of route the club are looking at, which brings us on then to the question about Marcos Alonso, because that is a signing right now that appears to be very imminent. Thomas Tuchel even confirmed that he's very close there to finalising his transfer away from the club. He's sort of seen there, I think, by Barca as a kind of low-cost option, given the fact we didn't really want to spend too much money on a left-back, somebody to come in, and Xavi does appear to have a lot of faith in him. But the question that I would ask is he the answer? Is Marcos Alonso going to come in and provide us with solutions? Because look, going forward, I think he's a very good acquisition. Going forward, he has a lot of quality. He's very good in the final third. He could probably even chip in with several goals throughout the season, as is his prowess in the opposition's box. But I'd also say all of those things about Alba. I'd also say that Alba can go forward and give us plenty in the final third, but defensively, is Alonso an upgrade on Jordi Alba? Defensively, is that an acquisition there that is going to fix some of the problems that we have? Because will we still be susceptible to teams getting in behind us on that side? And from what you've seen from Alonso at Chelsea, you would have to say that he'd need to improve, that Xavi must have to see something in him, that he can get something different out of him in order to really help us on that side, which then brings us on to the opposite flank, which then brings us on to talk about the right-back area, because these are huge positions for us in a Barcelona team, because yes, we've had an incredible summer, yes, we've strengthened massively with top players, but these full-back areas, they are pivotal, and we need to address them. We need to have quality in these areas, and especially now that Xavi has left us all in absolutely no doubt that he hasn't canked on Serginho Dest, leaving him out of the squad there for the opening game. I actually thought, to be honest, that was quite a drastic move, to leave completely Dest out of the squad, and it's really hard to see any way back in now for him after that move. Araujo, of course, went on to play there against Rayo. That simply didn't work. There's no other way around that. It was not something there that worked out, and I feel like throughout a whole season, he's not somebody you regularly want playing there. If it's a one-off game to shut down one specific player, in a Clásico against Vinicius, for example, that's okay, but to do it repeatedly, Araujo as a right-back, I think it would be criminal, really, to force him away from his best position into one where he is simply not as effective. And I'd say the same about Koundé. We have not signed Jules Koundé here to come in and be a right-back. We want Araujo, we want Koundé alongside each other, where they feel best, where they fit best at the heart of our defence. And what that means is we got to sign someone. If Xavi doesn't count on Dest, you must sign a right back. Now, right now, Juan Foyt, he's a name that we keep on hearing. We have heard right the way through this summer transfer window. He has been very impressive, I've got to say, since he's joined up with Villarreal in La Liga. Had a really good last campaign. He's still only 24 years old, and I think he would actually really suit the kind of player Xavi wants, the kind of characteristics that he has, the kind of fullback that he is. I think he would definitely suit us, but he would reportedly cost there up to 25 million euros. Will Barca pay that for the fullback they are looking for? A cheaper option, for sure, would be Borussia Dortmund's Thomas Meunier. This is another name that we're hearing once again in connection with Barca. He was actually linked with us back in the January transfer window, and again, this would be, it looks to me like a low-cost option. It's as simple as that, really. 10 million euros apparently it would take to bring him in there from Dortmund. He's 30 years old. I don't think, to be honest, he'd set the world alight, and I don't really see that as an option that really excites everybody and really looks good in our team right now. And there is also reportedly interest in Barca in Man United's Diego Dallo, according to Fabrizio Romano. And I think the club right now do have a number of players on their shortlist. They're sort of working their way through them, seeing who's available, seeing how much it would cost, and I just hope that in the end, given the fact here, we seem to be discarding Dest, we're moving players out of position to play at right back. Roberto obviously is not going to be an option for every single game. We've got to sign someone. We have to go out and buy somebody, but it also has to be the right profile, the right player, and it also must be an upgrade on what we have, which is interesting, because then we again move forward in the field, away from fullback, away from defence. We're talking about creative players, we're talking about attacking quality, and we are still willing to pay big money to sign Bernardo Silva. And one of the big questions that always comes up with Bernardo is, do we need him? Is he somebody here who could add to this Barcelona team, add to what we already have? And to answer that, I would look here at one particular quote from Xavi after the draw against Rayo, when we did really lack something in midfield, and he spoke about it in detail. He said, we struggle with interior play. We do very well on the wings, we do good things in wide areas, but we need to combine more in the middle. He said the idea is to do it with the third man. We did it well a couple of times, but things need to be adjusted. And I think right throughout the quote there, Bernardo Silva, he would solve those issues. Now, the question, of course, as to whether we should go out and pay huge money for him whilst maybe neglecting the fullback areas, I understand that question, but if you're asking me straight up here, would Bernardo add to this team? Would he answer a lot of the questions and the problems that we had, for instance, against Rayo? Yes, he would. You look at the way that he's operated in that kind of position at Man City under Pep Guardiola, and for me, in that area, he's one of the best midfielders in the world of football. If you can get a player like this, and I understand why Barca are looking, I understand why Xavi would be so insistent on bringing him in, because he is a wonderful, wonderful player, and he does appear to want to come. That is the interesting part right now. He was left on the bench there for both of Man City's first games of the season. That's not something that you'd usually see in normal circumstances. He came on to play just half an hour in both of them combined, and there was also some very telling signs. On Saturday there, Man City had their home game against Bournemouth, and Bernardo was the very last player to leave the field. He clapped all four corners of the stadium, he went over to the fans, he actually gave his shirt away, he seemed quite emotional. It seemed to me like a farewell, and especially when you put all of that with this message here that he wrote on social media, again thanking the fans for their support, for their appreciation, for backing him during his time at the club, and it seems to me as though he is already preparing for this move to Barcelona, and it may not come anymore at Frenkie de Jong's expense. That is what we're hearing at the club right now, that again, it's not really about replacing one with the other, but maybe having the option of both of them. And I think a lot of people would look at this deal very differently if we could keep Frenkie and add Bernardo Silva to that in midfield. There would certainly be players elsewhere who would have to be sold, who would have to leave the club, I'm sure, in order to make things happen. But Bernardo, he is a quality player, and I understand what people are saying here about the defence, about the fact that we need to sign quality fullbacks. I agree very much with that, but I'm just giving you the situation here on the club and what they plan to do. It looks to me like Marcos Alonso is going to be arriving. It looks as though we're looking for a fullback who won't really break the bank on the right side, and we are still going after Bernardo to help with that interior problem, to really bring that midfield to life and help everything to fit together. But what do you make of it? That is the really intriguing question here today, guys. Looking at the way that we have handled this summer, looking at the way that we're trying to close out the transfer window, what do you make of these final plans? 3 more players to come in. What do you make of them? What will they add, in your opinion, to this Barcelona team? And would you do anything differently? Would you choose to go down a different route here with these final signings of the window? Please do let me know all of those thoughts down below. There is going to be lots more to come and lots of build-up, of course, ahead of a massive game for us this weekend. We've got to hit back. We must respond at the Anoeta. I will see you soon with all of that to come, and I thank you indeed for watching and for getting involved here. But until next time, guys, as always, Visca El Barça.